Hey there, welcome to the YouTube show. I'm Chris Pugh. Got Craig with me. Craig, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Chris?
Good. Hey, just for transparency purposes, Joe Castle, he wants to try to be back. He's taking a break from now. He has a home project going on that is taking more time than he wants right now, so he asked for a little bit of a break. That's fine. This is a fun thing. We're going to miss Joe, but Craig and I talk about having some special guests in the meantime. But Craig, it's just you and me tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know, Craig. I like this video. We watched kind of a viral video that went out probably a week or so ago, where Eli Manning has his Eli's Places show, where it's kind of like Peyton's Places, but Eli more focuses on the college football instead of the NFL, where he'll go pick places to go. And he thought it would be good shtick to go to Penn State and pretend to be a walk-on quarterback. So it was Chad Powers that came on. Craig, you might know this. I'm not sure if you saw this or not. Jared Goff, the quarterback for your Detroit Lions, did something similar to this. And I'm trying to find what school he went to. I think it was almost like a real small college school.
Yeah, he was. I remember this. I don't quite remember the team, but he went undercover as like a transfer quarterback or whatever. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was at Ventura College, so it was like a small school out there in California.
Now, nothing against your guy, Jared Goff. Lions are looking better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly they're looking better because of Jared Goff, but, maybe he went undercover. No one figured him out because he wasn't a fantastic quarterback. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's been on TV a lot, so I'm sure that if, without different hair and some makeup and prosthetic, you'd probably definitely know, just like Eli Manning in this case as well, where, Eli had the new hair and the prosthetics and all that, kind of the whole get up, obviously needed it.
So everyone wants content to help promote their stuff. Like Jared Goff, I'm seeing here, it was uploaded on the Red Bull website. So, Red Bull isn't a big sports provider, but hey, if you're a brand out there and
it gets the word out.
Yeah, it gets the word out. It's a lot better than just doing a basic pitch for your, product. So, good for Red Bull, whatever the case might be. So, a little bit of the I thought there was some good parts of this video with Eli and Penn State. A little bit of the came out by saying, hey, I've kind of seen that with Jared Bull and Ventura. That took a little bit of juice out of it for me, Craig, to be honest.
I actually forgot about the Jared Goff one, but, once you brought it up, I'm like, oh, yeah, he did do this. So, probably, took some notes from that. But I will say this. You can have 25 million different opinions on Eli Manning as a quarterback in the NFL and his, is he a Hall of Famer? Is he whatever? Is he a product of good teams that won Super Bowl? Whatever, Eli Manning was a solid NFL pro. He won a couple of Super Bowls, but he's kind of like Peyton in this, and Peyton had a much more prolific NFL career, is definitely a Hall of Famer and all that. But they are so much fun as personalities outside of the NFL. Peyton is hilarious. He was awesome on Saturday Night Live years ago. He's been fun as the SB's host. He does the Peyton's Places. He and Eli, of course, are currently doing this, Monday night telecast. But Eli Manning is so much fun, ripping it up with these college kids as Chad Powers. And it was a fun video because Eli Manning has the personality to match what the video needed to be. And I can't begin to tell you that, Eli was this kind of a quarterback for me. He was a quarterback. He was a solid player. But as a personality outside of the NFL, I kind of want more Eli Manning content, I'm just going to throw that out there. I like Eli Manning. He's a lot of fun. He makes fun of Peyton Manning, his brother, so much, which is hilarious. he even made fun of him in this video where they had like a paint roller, and he asked it, and this is after the video kind of ends, but he asked the makeup artist if that's the paint roller they use for Peyton's forehead. It's just, he is so much fun.
Oh, and by all means, I mean, comedians in general, I mean, not just the Manning brothers, I mean, be self-deprecating. That's what I've loved.
Right.
Years. Yeah, you just poke fun of yourself.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, even looking at a guy like Donald Trump, I like the fact, well, one of the things that turned me off in general about his character was he wasn't self-deprecating. I mean, he took himself way too seriously. And so, I mean, hey, if you want to be a winner in my book, start making fun of yourself. You know what I mean? That makes it a little bit easier. So,
yeah, I mean, in this video, I'm not really, I only know this snippet from the video. I didn't watch the episode. I don't know if they like go into further detail as to why Penn State. I mean, obviously Eli has really no affiliation with Penn State, but clearly he's got a good rapport with James Franklin, the head coach down there. And, he wants to tell the stories of the walk-ons that go to Penn State. Now, if you would have told me that Penn State was walk-on you before this, I would have said, what makes them walk-on you? But, they kind of described why they're considered like walk-on university, because they have a lot of guys that try out, and they've had success stories, although a lot of colleges have had success stories. But it was fun. They go through the motions of like a tryout, and they kind of give you a behind-the-scenes look at what these guys have to go through to make a football team. And then what I thought was hilarious was, and at least it was played like this. I don't know if it was accurate or not, but they made it seem like only James Franklin knew that Eli Manning was Chad Powers and he was not a real walk-on candidate. As we see, it looked like, I think the offensive coordinator was like gushing over Eli's passing prowess, and basically saying that he's got that something special and that it factor kind of. So I thought it was hilarious that not everybody else was in on it. It wasn't just the whole coaching staff knew what this was. Like, they kind of pranked the coaching staff that was like sending him through these workouts.
How would you react? Like, you started a job recently. I started a job recently. Yeah, there's sometimes joking around could be fun and everything. But how would you react if you're that coach? I mean, I guess
he's probably upset. He probably thought he had some hidden diamond in the rough, hidden talent at quarterback that he was going to have as maybe his potential quarterback of the future, and then it gets pulled out from under him.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if, like, at your job, you get in there and your boss is like, pulling some practical joke on you, like, "Hey, Craig,
yeah,
you just won the Pulitzer Prize." Like, "Whoa, this is great!" Oh, you didn't. I mean, I probably wouldn't quit, but I'd probably be like, "Okay, what's happening here? This is." Yeah, I don't know how long the offensive coordinator's been there. I'm not sure if he's been there for 50 years or
right.
This is his first year, but either way, I'm like, come on.
You can kind of see it though. He's like, as Eli's ripping some of ththese throws, he's kind of like, yeah, this guy's got it. Like, we got ourselves a little hidden, diamond in the rough. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm sure at some point, I almost think that at some point he went over to James Franklin and said, "Man, this guy's got it. We got to get him lined up." And then maybe Franklin told him, because like when he announced that Chad Powers was Eli Manning, it didn't really seem like the offensive coordinator was in shock at that point. But it was funny to see that. I mean, could you imagine if they and nothing against Eli Manning, I'm sure even at his retired age, he's probably can still spin the football. But could you imagine if Justin Herbert or Josh Allen went to one of these camps and started throwing 70-yard bombs off one foot?
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this because, yes, I understand. There was a good show on Spike once, Pros Against Joes.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, where you could go and try to compete against the pros. And the whole thought was, the pros they got were retired guys and everything. And the whole thought was, hey, these retired guys are still really good. But, I mean, it's Eli Manning's show. I know they don't want to make Eli Manning look like an awful quarterback or anything. But, Eli Manning's retired.
Yeah.
Are we sure that he was throwing passes like they were saying he was throwing passes?
I think for a walk-on, probably. Like, you don't expect a walk-on to come in and, you know, throw darts, you know, or maybe not even like with velocity, but with ball placement, like putting it on his, like they kept saying, oh, putting it on his chest. That was on his chest, or, you know, putting it in situations where the receiver can then catch and run. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know that you'd ever say that Eli had the strongest arm when he played, but I think for like a walk-on camp, he probably had an arm that they weren't expecting to see as a walk-on quarterback. I mean, you know, Baker Mayfield was a walk-on quarterback way back when, although, you know, he doesn't have the strongest arm. So you probably didn't expect like the arm strength from him, but the accuracy was there, and the footwork, and the, you know, the ability to, you know, replicate what you were doing in your throwing motion. That probably is something that you probably don't see as walk-ons attempt to become quarterbacks in college.
Craig, I suffered for watching a quarterback. This is the first week of all three where my team was Steelers, where he had over 200 yards passing.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, he broke the 200-yard mark. I'm like, okay, it's the NFL. You should break the 200-yard mark in the first quarter. I mean, and I'm sitting here, and the way they edited that video together for Eli Manning, I'm like, holy crap, why does Steelers sign Eli Manning? He can do better. And
well, yeah, I mean, you know, look.
Well,
I don't know that he would look as good when you're talking about let's have him throw to grown men against grown men defenses that you would see in the NFL. When when he's in the, he's about 6'4", 6'5". When he's doing that, going to a college football workout with a bunch of guys that are probably like, oh, well, I played high school football, even though I'm like 5'8", 180 pounds, trying to, try out for a wide receiver. It's a little bit different. I mean, yeah, you wonder. I don't remember if his last year was all that memorable as far as the numbers he put up, but at the end of the day, I think he knew it was time to leave, and I don't think he probably has the requisite arm, the gas in that arm tank to take it for another 17 games.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, Craig, and forgive me if I told the story on the podcast before. I win tickets, like some Pepsi contest. This guy, he won it. He was actually from Central Ohio. He picked 9 of his buddies, and they said, okay, we're going to put you in the stadium closest to your house. So that stadium was where the Columbus Clippers play. And they're like, we're going to bring in this legendary team of Major League players. Mm-hmm. And Craig, it was kind of a cool night. I mean, Wade Boggs was playing. Who else? Frank Thomas. Johnny Bench actually did some stuff. Yeah, you're like, whoa, Frank Thomas. Yeah, I said Frank Thomas, but I mean, there were a lot of kind of guys from the 90s when I was really into baseball. I enjoyed it. I had a fun night. Well, Pedro Martinez was the pitcher. So, like, this guy picks 9 of his buddies. They get to go out and play the game. And I'm sitting here like, holy crap. Pedro Martinez used to be this dominating, amazing pitcher. He's throwing like 50-mile-per-hour fastballs. Now, maybe he was told to be nice and not.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
But Pedro isn't throwing 100 miles per hour right now.
No.
And the way they edited the Eli Manning video, it was like not even just for the Steelers. It was like, look out, Patrick Mahomes. It's Eli Manning. He looks great.
Well, I mean, yeah, I will say though, even though they can edit it the way they need to, basically saying like, hey, every pass he threw should have been a completion. I mean, he had some incompletions, but they also would probably be a lot of it because the receivers weren't catching the football. But, I wouldn't necessarily say that he threw the ball with great velocity. Like, the ball wasn't like just getting there, you know what I mean? But I think the placement was there. He still has probably the same arm, maybe a little bit less arm strength, but his accuracy is good, his footwork is good, and mechanics were solid, just like you would probably expect from Eli Manning, really.
I'm so Jay is a Steelers fan. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't structurally sound or whatever, but man, it looks so much better than the Steelers have done this year in terms of quarterback.
I mean, he could probably hand the ball off to Najee Harris, pretty well, and maybe throw the ball once or twice here and there. But yeah, well, I mean, they have
kind of like what the Steelers quarterback is right now.
Kenny Pickett. they can always throw Kenny Pickett in there and let him get some work.
No, but apparently Kenny Pickett must have some pictures of Mike Tomlin or something, compromising because, Steelers are now 1-2. And I wish I can come up with some excuse. I mean, they didn't have TJ Watt, but TJ Watt should have stayed healthy. They lost. I mean, no Browns beat them. I mean, there's no excuse for getting around it, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's tough. All right, well, Craig, we gotta end this pretty soon.
Yeah.
Enjoy myself. We are taping, and thoughts and prayers go out to me because we'll stay awake during this. But taping a football show with Pierre Holland. Craig, we're training the football podcast, which is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Lots of football talk recently. We'll talk more with Peter about how the last week of the football season ended. Craig, anything upcoming with Bob or George?
No Bob this week, unfortunately. We're going to take a week off, although we did record last Friday. But hopefully we'll be, with the Browns not playing on Thursday, we'll hopefully have George again this week. But, we're going to take a week off from Bob, unfortunately.
I know George has some good stuff with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about getting some guests whenever we tape next. And maybe we could put George on our dream list.
Yeah.
So
that would be a great guest to get.
All right. Again, remember YouTube TV. Remember Cash App. Almost forgot. Great ways of watching a lot of great TV or sending money back and forth to each other. And again, you save money if you click the link on our page. So you may have never heard of our podcast, but hey, if you want that YouTube savings, click on our page, listen to some of our podcasts, and then you can get that savings that you're looking for. I hope you and help us out as well. All right, Craig, anything else going in your life?
No, we just plugging away at some stories and covering breaking news in the big city of Nashville. So a lot of cool, interesting stuff going on. We did a team project with our breaking news team on the most dangerous streets for pedestrians in Nashville, and wrote a story today as well, a breaking news story about a fire at a local restaurant that unfortunately took the restaurant, but everybody was safe from it at least. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I echo what Craig says. Support local journalism, wherever it might be, if it's Nashville, Columbus, wherever. And I'll tell you, I'm not there anymore, but that doesn't mean I don't support local journalism. Lots of good things happen, so please continue to support that. Hey, if you want to follow my new adventures on prdaily.com, I've got a weekly column. One's going to go up probably midday tomorrow. What am I talking about tomorrow? I don't know. Walmart has some new programming the kids, some marketing. Craig, I want to really quickly ask about this because I was talking about this during a meeting, and I really know too much about it. There's a metaverse for kids.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this, Craig?
I'm not, no.
Let me quickly pull up some information on this. This is kind of wild. Yes, the Roblox. Apparently, my kids aren't in the Roblox because I was asked about that. I wasn't sure, but Roblox is out, and Walmart's going to have Walmart Land and Walmart's Universe on there. It's just a place where kids can go, and they're targeting younger audiences. They're letting people do stuff in this metaverse, and that way they can, talk to more children age about marketing. And
okay,
it's if you're into that. I mean, with the kids, with that metaverse, it's kind of fun. But some people are questioning the security and the privacy of those experiences as well. So, hey, get into that. That's coming up tomorrow. Check it out. Support what I do too. I know it's support Craig, but support Chris too. He'll appreciate that. Believe me. All right, Craig. Anything else before we end for the night?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I need to load up with some sugar, so I'm going to do that. So for Craig and this is Chris. Thanks for checking out our YouTube show. Have a good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mooney. Welcome to what is our new Hope Interrupted podcast based on the work from our book, Hope Interrupted, that I co-authored with my good friend Byron McCauley.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm looking forward to this podcast as much as I was looking forward to writing this book with you. We hope to interview some high impact folks as well as have a little fun.
We're going to cover stories of hope. To learn more about our podcast and our book, please visit www.hopeinterrupted.com.